I'm ESA, and this is the Resistance Festival 2012.
Hi there, we're at Resistance 2012. I'm here with the lead man from ESA, Jamie. Jamie, the other Resistance acts. Hi, Jamie. The other Resistance acts have. You're saying, are they noisy enough for you? You said, is this noisy enough to you, to the crowd? Yeah. Are they noisy, or are you the noise?
Oh, I don't know, because there's Waystone tomorrow, and they're pretty noisy. So I think me and those guys are probably spearheading the horrible side of Resistance. The rest of it's good. It's got its place, but I like the noisy stuff, and I don't know. I feel like the crowd was wanting something more like the sound of a dishwasher. The fact that I asked if it was noisy enough, and they were like, no. So maybe I should have put some more feedback in.
I actually worked with Leechwoman years ago, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Leechwoman.
All right, I know those guys.
They actually, my sound engineer at the time was like, I don't know how to do this. I said, well, what's wrong? He said, well, they've got a dishwasher or a washing machine as their drum kit. Yeah? How do I micro a washing machine? Or whatever, right?
That sound guy should go along with Terrafact on tour because he would enjoy himself a lot.
Yeah.
Those guys play oil drums and
pretty similar thing. But you've been
kitchen wares.
You've been a working musician for a long time. You've got your roots in the sort of black metal scene, etc. And in all the years you've been gigging and performing and recording, have you ever had like any crazy rider things? We know some of the guys put things in just to check we're watching, yeah. But have you asked for anything really wild on your rider before?
I'm a pretty vanilla guy. I like it quite simple. As long as I've got my bottle of whiskey and enough Red Bull to carry me through the show, I'm pretty happy. I'm going to think of something new to put on that rider list next time.
I think Ozzy Osbourne always said he wanted like 4,000 brown M&Ms or something crazy like that. You know?
Well, that's going to be my request because I feel that me and Ozzy Osbourne are about on the same level of popularity.
You're on a par with him, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
So your new album, I read on your website, is due out late 2011, early 2012. Has that been released yet? Or?
It has. It's a double album. It's released in two parts. The first part, Lust, was released around a month ago. The second part, Deceit, will be released around November or December if I can get my arse in gear. But yeah.
No, I really enjoyed one of the descriptions you gave on your website about people who make music like they're playing Tetris. And where you basically take sounds and go, oh, I've discovered this really fun sound, how can I slot this into a song to make it work? Would you say you build your tracks more as a sort of, you build the music around a concept, or do you find really exciting things and build the concept around the music?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because I've come from like a band background, in my head it's kind of like you get to jam and you get to go through a very organic process, whereas a lot of electronic musicians come from literally playing Tetris and going on to making music. And I think the suggestion was made that a lot of people don't really do much live and they don't feel the need to, and that is very opposite to my view because I've come from a band background. So I've taken my electronic rig and tried to make it as live as possible. It's fucking tough when you're one guy. And to make it work on stage, and also do it when you've had half a bottle of Jack as well, is quite difficult.
I think because a lot of EBM bands do become two guys behind a sequencer. And I know being a DJ in the past, I've tried to move and dance my records that I'm playing. So if I'm not enjoying it, why the fuck should you do it?
Yeah, no, you're right. But also, like, if you take it back to a different scene, like the techno scene or the drum and bass scene, those guys are real DJs. You take it to the industrial scene, those guys are not real DJs. They just throw a track straight off the
No, I see what you're coming from.
It's a little bit embarrassing because you go to these clubs and it's just like, oh, play this song. Because I've come from a band background, just trying to make it as live as possible because I can't get into music if I'm not doing anything. If I get to hit something and it makes a sound, then I'm pretty happy.
Do you think there's ever an idea of incorporating anyone else, or would that be going back to the band thing which you've stepped away from?
It's a really good question. I've thought about it like so many times about getting somebody included because the more people on stage, the more the audience gets to concentrate
more dynamic, I guess.
Yeah, absolute dynamics. The more energy is going on, like memory, because those guys have got so much energy. But I worry so much about things going wrong, and I know exactly how things are supposed to sound.
And taking that purity away, I guess, to a degree.
Yeah, I think I find it pretty difficult to let the reins go and let somebody else take control, because if it fucked up, I would be unhappy about the situation, because you play gigs like these, which are awesome festivals, and if it fucks up, you've got the one chance to make it right.
Sean and I were talking about Frontline Assembly before, and you've got an association with Frontline Assembly to a degree, is that right? Yeah. And they're very much the grandfathers of industrial. I remember like the first bands I got into a Front 242, Frontline Assembly and Ministry, etc.
Yeah, I agree.
And Is there any band, if you could take the laws of time, space, etc. apart, is there any band you'd like to be part of or collaborated with yourself? If you, obviously Footlights Only might be one of them, but if you could be part of any band or group that's existed before, who would you be part of?
There is no time separation needed. I think there are two bands that I'm like massively impressed by on a constant basis, and that's Ulver. I don't know if you've heard of those guys. They're a Norwegian band.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, they started off a black metal band and they moved into kind of hip hop, industrial, trip hop, lots of different genres.
Step, isn't it?
Massive sidestep. But they do even folk music. They do every single genre amazingly well, while still keeping their own personality, their own kind of kudos in there. So Ulver, absolutely, I would love to go on stage with those guys. But also anything with Devin Townsend did, because I think that guy is a fucking genius. Because he makes journeys out of tracks, whether it's metal or acoustic stuff. Absolutely.
I think taking your audience on a journey is quite important. I mean, again, you talk about being real DJs, etc. Myself as a DJ, I've tried to shape the sound of a note.
Absolutely. So you've got your crescendos 2/3 through, and then bring it back.
And you make it a journey, really. It's music to fall in love to. It's music to sort of like,
It can't just be one big track after one big track after one big track.
The audience get bored.
Yeah, you've got to have the difference and the interest in there, and you've got to have the track where the DJ can go have a wee. you've got to have.
Which track is that? The drum and bass?
It used to be typo negative tracks because they were like 15 years long.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Anything with Pete Steele's voice, it makes me want to go for a piss.
One of the things I was going to ask you about is that we've been talking to a few of
I don't know what that means.
We're talking about the idea that the industrial EBM sound and a lot of the very traditional hard dance songs, so I used to buy mixed mags of there, have kind of meshed together to a degree. I remember playing in my club, I could play things that have been, I don't know, hardstyle songs 4 or 5 years ago, fitted in really well with bands like Sogan, etc.
Right.
So the EBM and hard dance song genres have meshed to a degree, have merged. Do you feel like with industrial and black metal are merging in the same way?
Oh, yeah, I've got 2 points on that. First of all, if you listen to any German techno, that is pretty much harsh industrial. All the kicks are fucking distorted. So you've already got a scene kind of bridge over, and if the industrial bands could kind of get a little bit of a cut of that German scene, they'd be winning because there's so much money in that. But with regards to, I forgot my point because I'm half a jack.
That's fine. We're just talking about the industrial, the black metal scene incorporated into industrial.
Bands like Aborium, I don't know if you've ever heard of those guys. A lot of black metal bands are using electronic kind of influences in the music.
Is there any resistance in the black metal scene to this sort of like
I think
electronic
there's
sound?
There's a lot of purists in the black metal scene that really don't want any electronic music kind of fusing into it, but there are the odd bands that are doing it really well.
If you had a message for the people of Resistance, what would your message be?
Oh God, put me on the spot. Just drink a lot and enjoy yourselves. This is like probably one of the biggest festivals in Europe on its second year, so that's a massive feat.
Do you think it's made itself a bit of a must-have on the EBM calendar?
I think it's become a cool event already after 1 year.